In February of 2016, the then UK Prime Minister David Cameron announced that the UK government would formally recommend to the British people that the UK should remain a member of a reformed European Union, and that a referendum that would be advisory on Parliament would be held to gauge support or opposition to the recommendation.
We are approaching one of the biggest decisions this country will face in our lifetimes, whether to remain in a reformed European Union or to leave. The choice goes to the heart of the kind of country we want to be and the future that we want for our children.
Cameron's party had been losing support to the right-wing United Kingdom Independence Party, UKIP, led by one Nigel Farage. Cameron thought he could stem the hemorrhaging of Conservative support, even though he was a Remainer, by throwing his right wing the bone of a referendum, which he thought would go Remain's way. He, thus, gambled the unity of the European Union and that of the United Kingdom for the sake of his party and his personal political career. As it happened, his gamble didn't pay off. He lost and resigned, running away from the mess which is his responsibility.
But the British people have made a very clear decision to take a different path. And as such, I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction. I will do everything I can as Prime Minister to steady the ship over the coming weeks and months. But I do not think it would be right for me to try to be the captain that steers our country to its next destination.
On June 23, 2016, the referendum was held in the UK. The question was deceptively simple. Should the United Kingdom remain a member of the European Union or leave the European Union? It presented a binary choice: remain a member of the European Union or leave the European Union. There were two campaign groups which came to be known as Remainers and Brexiteers. There was no indication as to what leave actually meant, but the leading Leave campaigners assured us that it wasn't to be a no-deal Brexit.
There is no plan for no deal because we are going to get a great deal, and I would just...
If you think about it, the free trade agreement that we will have to come to with the European Union should be one of the easiest in human history.
The day after we vote to leave, we hold all the cards, and we can choose the path that we want.
Taking back control is a careful change, not a sudden step. We will negotiate the terms of a new deal before we start any legal process to leave. The Leave campaign.
That can be dealt with in the legislation, and you could have two referendums, and as it happens, it may be more sense to have the second referendum after the renegotiation is completed.
Voters were clearly being led to believe that they were voting for a Brexit with a deal if they voted Leave. How many of the Leave voters were taken in by these statements, and how many didn't care whether or not there was a deal anyway? It's difficult to know. With 52% voting Leave, there is little indication of how many Leave voters were okay with a no deal. In the absence of hard data, a reasonable starting estimate would be half of them, making it 26% in favour of no deal. Polls indicate that this is too generous to the no-deal cause. The real number is less than that. Only a properly run and binding referendum with no deal clearly specified as one option would ensure that the decision, whichever way it went, was properly democratic. The 52% who wanted Brexit with a deal, or Brexit with or without a deal, means that 48% voted Remain. This difference, 4%, represented unfinished business by a long way, according to Nigel Farage. Certainly, a referendum that recommends the removal of people's legally acquired rights normally requires a 60% to 66% majority. The Conservatives narrowly won the last UK general election on a manifesto still advocating a Brexit deal. Britain needs a strong and stable government to get the best Brexit deal for our country and its people. Again, nobody was given the opportunity to indicate their support for specifically no-deal Brexit. Now, after a referendum campaign which stressed the need for parliamentary sovereignty, Parliament is being threatened by a move to bypass it and to impose a totally undemocratic, no-deal Brexit.